People keep recommending this Jose Canseco video. Baseball doesn't exist.
He's introduced the game's biggest stars to steroids and then told on the game's biggest stars for doing steroids. He's been called a liar, a cheater, a drug addict, and a wife beater. He's fought a man who's 7 feet tall, and he's fought a man who's 5'6". He's been to prison, he's lived in a garage, he's been on reality TV shows, he's written 2 New York Times best-selling books, and has even claimed to have met aliens. Jose Canseco has done it all, and he's done it weirder than anybody in baseball history. Shortly after Jose Canseco was drafted, that's right, for an entire series of games, he didn't hit, he didn't field, he didn't do anything. He collected bats and balls and was laughed at and made fun of by teammates.
That's an important position, though.
This was enough
Someone's got to do it.
Canseco to he gained 25 pounds of muscle that offseason, came back to baseball, and quickly became the Athletics' #1 prospect. Probably be one of the very few, if not the only.
Wait, is that true? For $5,000, you can hunt Bigfoot with Jose Canseco? That sounds like the best use of $5,000 ever. And there can't be that many people paying $5 grand to hunt fucking Sasquatch with Jose Canseco. Do you think if we reached out, we could get him to come hunt the skunk ape instead? Someone's got to catch the skunk ape down here. I think Jose Canseco is the man for it.
He would be the first player in history to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in a single season. Everybody called him an arrogant show-off, and then that season,
he did it.
The first player in history to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases. And then everybody just called him an arrogant show-off who was the best player in the world. By the time he left Oakland in 1992, he had been arrested several times, once for going 140 miles per hour and leading cops on a 15-mile chase.
Wow!
Jose has since
Do they have
claimed
footage
that
of that?
Also, anyway, in 1992, he was arrested again for ramming
kept
his
it
car
loaded
into
for
his wife's car
Bigfoot.
during an argument at a gas station. This was the first time.
Well, maybe
Jose
his
got
wife
arrested
was having an
for
affair with
his wife,
Bigfoot.
but
God
Jose
damn.
maintains
How
that
deep
this
does it
was
go,
just
I
a
wonder?
simple.
Before I forget, I have to know, is there footage of that police chase?
At one point,
That's gotta be fucking great. Jose Canseco going 140 on a goddamn police pursuit. Probably tossing baseballs and Bigfoot food out of the window or something, like bait. This wasn't even close. They didn't even give me like a Jose Canseco related video. They just gave me police chases. And then a Grand Theft Auto cutscene over here, basically. Jesus Christ.
So, according to Canseco, he didn't hit his wife with his car because of steroids. He did it because he was pissed off at her. So, you really can't blame steroids. I guess you have to blame him. You also can't blame steroids for the time his 20-pound tortoise worth $25,000 escaped his backyard into traffic, forcing a sheriff to save its life in 1991. He was also pulled over with goats in the back of his car in 2013.
So he's like Dan Bilzerian, but less rich.
But luckily, the goats were wearing diapers. Instances like this have always been part of. A few days later, the Harrisburg Heat, a professional soccer team from Pennsylvania, offered Canseco a contract, but
I had to hurt
declined.
like shit.
This may be the most memorable moment of Jose Canseco's time in Texas and perhaps his entire playing career, but there were a lot of significant
That single-handedly
events
gave him an
played for the
encephalon
Rangers.
injury.
Probably the one with the
Holy
most
shit.
impact was Tommy Lasorda said Canseco seemed a little bit out of shape. He responded by calling Lasorda a chubby little fat troll who is the worst Humpty Dumpty pasta-eating moron I've ever seen.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that
Jose
sounds
was not
reasonable.
taking retirement very well.
Get
Canseco
blasted,
believed that he was
nerd.
being blackballed by MLB.
He learned that
because
on
they
League
knew
of
that he had
Legends.
such a huge. During this time, Jose began making money by allowing fans to bid for a chance to spend the day with him at his house while he was on house arrest. Potential activities
That's so
included hanging out
good.
by the pool, martial arts lessons, grilling steaks, and taking batting practice. A diehard
Hey, I'm
fan
under
won
house
this
arrest. Come
contest
pay to hang
for
out with me.
25.
Is there footage of Jose Canseco fighting? Oh, yes. How deep does the Jose Canseco lore go?
However, Canseco's true athletic calling in recent years hasn't been baseball. It's been MMA and boxing.
Yeah,
His boxing career began in
let's
2008 when he
go.
fought Vi Sikahema.
He recently fought an intern at Barstool Sports and took a dive just to get money for the fight because he was broke. What the fuck? To be honest, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, I was pretty disappointed when Ben Askren got fucking blasted by Jake Paul. And it was pretty clear, like, he didn't care. He just wanted to get out quickly. I was thinking like that. Like, if I got challenged to a fight with one of the Paul brothers, I'd probably just take the check and take a dive instantly. Like, I'd just, like, fall right on the mat and just call it a day. It's like, that's speed running a fat check for doing nothing. Like, now I have nothing against Ben Askren for it now, the more I think about it. So if Jose Canseco pulled a Ben Askren, good for him. Dude's 90 years old. Contaminated with steroids and hunting Bigfoot.
The fight was in Philadelphia. Vince Papale was the referee, and Canseco walked in with
Vince
a bunch of fake
Papale?
tattoos. Bonaducci is only 5'6",
and he
but the
wore
fight
fake
ended in a
tattoos?
draw,
Why?
although some scares. Canseco then decided to put his black belts in Taekwondo,
Why would he
Kung
wear
Fu,
fake
and Muay Thai
tattoos?
to use by challenging
Like the
Hong
sponge
Yan
ones?
Choi. Jose had no chance, but I guess he really needed the money, so he volunteered to get pummeled by one of the scariest people ever. The fight lasted 1 minute and 17 seconds, and honestly, it could have been a lot worse. But only a few months later, he returned to the ring to fight Todd the Punisher Polton, who was basically just a random guy from Massachusetts who's known for fighting a few celebrity boxing matches and
Let's go,
having an
Todd!
insane face tattoo.
Fuck
Polton
yeah, Todd!
was 5'10", but Canseco won this fight by decision. The next year, Jose fought Gary
beat Todd?
Hogan in
He's
Little Rock,
unbeatable.
Arkansas before an Arkansas Travelers AAA baseball game. Gary Hogan was a 60-year-old man and an ex-baseball coach. He only weighed 191 pounds, but the fight ended in a draw. Again, it seems pretty clear.
He just
Jose
fought
went
some
easy on
spectator
him.
at the fucking
2011,
match.
Canseco was scheduled to fight Billy Patton.
Which one of you is the oldest one here?
Florida. But when he took
Alright, get
his
your old
shirt
ass
off
in the
and was
ring. We're gonna
preparing to
fight.
enter the ring for another fight in 2016
Appreciate
when
it.
Jose was scheduled to fight Lindsay Lohan's dad, but that never happened.
Lindsay
Jose was supposed to fight
Lohan's
Lenny Dykstra
dad?
In 2011, but Lenny pulled out the last minute and
Who's
was
next?
replaced by the
Macaulay
guy who crashed
Culkin's
the White House
butler?
dinner party.
From
Jose
20
won that
years
fight
ago?
After a bunch of Jose is currently scheduled to fight Barstool Sports employee Billy Football on February 21st, and we wish Jose the best of luck.
I'm excited to
Believe it or
watch
not,
that
fighting
now.
is actually
Aliens have been trying to teach us how to time travel, but first we have to change our body composition, which we are not willing to do. We have tried with animals and it has failed. Well, if anyone was close enough to changing their body composition to be on a time travel wavelength with aliens, it's probably Jose Canseco. His body is composed of like 10% water, 5% blood, and 85% steroids. So he's probably like knocking on the door, like on the cusp, I would imagine. I mean, I can't speak for the aliens and their technology, but you know.
At one point, he proposed to his girlfriend on Twitter. She ignored him, so he called her a quote-unquote egotistical and easy lay. He posted...
What? This is fucking wild! He proposed to his girlfriend through Twitter, got left on red, and then immediately just went on like the Reddit nice guy shit. You bitch! How dare you! Wow.
Mark McGuire refused to show up because Canseco was there, but Jose apologized to McGuire anyway, and things worked out for Canseco. He was hired to be part of the Oakland broadcast team in 2017, but was asked not to return the next season after a series of tweets about sexual assault. And that's basically...
What? I see the difference, I guess, because I was a good-looking guy and these politicians look like a bag of boogers. Wow. It's like something I'd hear as an insult in Codename Kids Next Door. This... wow.
And that's what makes Jose Canseco an American hero.
Yeah, I mean...
Nobody cares about you either, fat You got no balls, that's why you don't say it to my face.
This is crazy.
Human feces.
That was a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. This is the second baseball player that has the craziest fucking lore. What was the other guy's name? Paul Hamburger or something super American? What was it? The guy with... Oh, this is when he fought Todd the Punisher. Let's go, Jose! No one's ever fought Todd and lived to tell the tale. Let's go, Todd! Has Todd ever fought before? Ever? Even, like, by accident one time? Let's go, Todd! This is where we make our comeback. He's going for the rhino charge. Come on, Todd! Ugh. Todd's just toying with him before he ends it all. He's about to put this match to bed. Boo is right. Not very good. And we already know Jose wins that fight. He got TKO'd by Barstool Sports intern Billy Football. 46 minutes. Don't want to watch 46 minutes of it. How about from this channel, Fittest Gamers? Okay. That's the DMCA waiting to happen. Damn, Billy Football's feeling it! Oh, is that the whole fight? So he really did just take a full-on dive, huh? That's a shame. I think only one baseball player per Just Chatting night, I would say. Because now Lenny and Jose, I'm convinced these baseball players have got some fucking good meat. Like, there is some content there. The most hated artist you probably recognize.
These paintings make my corneas hurt. I'm ashamed that this
Damien
artist
Hirst.
lived in my former hometown. The George
This is
W.
Damien Hirst.
Bush of art. Worthless. They make me want to puke. They are false works. They are awful. The worst paintings I've ever seen, and they will haunt me for the next half an hour. Those are all real quotes from comments, reviews, and articles concerning one artist and his work. Gee, these paintings must be pretty bad then,
It's Damien Hirst,
what
isn't
are they,
it?
pictures of babies eating each other alive? The scatological scribbles of a lunatic? No. These are the kinds of paintings those quotes are referring to. Now, if you're like me, you might be a bit confused. Why,
Actually,
are these are works
Artists
by
suck.
the late artist Thomas Kinkade.
God damn it.
You could make a very good case that Thomas Kinkade was the most successful artist in the 21st century so far. His works can be seen on mugs, t-shirts, calendars, and probably somewhere in your grandmother's living room. Thomas Kinkade's own company claims his work can be seen in 1 out of every 20 American homes. And at the height of his career, his company generated $130 million in sales in 1 year. Now I could totally see I hate Thomas Kinkade with every fiber of my being. Our long
Channel that
national
energy to someone that
nightmare is
deserves it,
There's
like
nothing
Damien
wrong
Hirst.
with liking Kinkade's paintings, but, in my opinion, there is something wrong with people that like his paintings. Yeah, that's basically the same thing. What could have possibly prompted such venom
Lazy
from
Tier
a
1
few
wishing
cottage
will.
paintings? What you'll find is that the reason for this hatred may have less to do with the art itself, and more to do with matters of taste, the art world, and even as you saw in the last comment, politics. Today we'll learn about the many reasons to hate.
Well, this sounds
Thomas
interesting.
Kinkade.
I don't know why more people don't hate people like Damien Hirst and Jackson Pollock. Their work is the most awful dog shit ever.
Before his business adventures, Kinkade worked in background painting for an animated film.
As far as the actual technique goes, for the most part we used a simple technical procedure. We'd just start out with a big wide brush and lay the thing in. Very scrubby at first, and then as we went, we'd gradually tighten the strokes.
Painting
down.
always
We gotta try to
impresses
keep the
me,
time on
because it's so
painting.
fucking
Very
hard.
limited because
And it worked. There are people who were
It
and are
looks
passionate
fine.
about these paintings. Clearly, many are willing to pay for reproductions, and many collect them religiously. The people who buy them are glad to have them. They find comfort in them. It is estimated his business brought in $100 million in revenue annually.
Art is
Thomas
always
Kinkade
subjective.
was
Yeah,
wildly
until it comes to
successful.
Damien Hirst and
As
Jackson
easy as
Pollock, then
would
it is
be to
objectively
dismiss
dog
all
shit.
this hatred, you'll find a lot of negative reviews that use the word kitsch. This word appears everywhere. Kitsch, kitsch, king of kitsch. But what is kitsch? My first vague understanding of the word was something that's popular but also poor quality. The Oxford Art Dictionary attempts to define it as objects or design considered to be in poor taste because of excessive garishness or sentimentality, but that might be too narrow. According to cultural critic and philosopher
Whoa.
Walter Benjamin, kitsch is, unlike art, a utilitarian object lacking all critical distance between object and observer.
God, these people are so fucking pretentious, it hurts. It hurts.
Effort.
Pretty much any art that looks like it takes talent, people don't like in the art industry. I guarantee you Damien Hirst, Jackson Pollock, all of like your most famous artists, like more modern artists, I guess Jackson Pollock doesn't fit into that. I guarantee they couldn't draw a single person's face. They couldn't paint a single thing that looks like anything. It's just abstract dog shit that even a child could make. Yeah, I remember Bob Ross was shit upon by most like fart-sniffing artists back in the day. I do remember that. Again, anything that looks like it has any form or shape to it, or anything that looks like it took time and effort, is very frowned upon in the community.
Thomas Kinkade has been
He looks like such a wholesome
compared to
guy.
Norman Rockwell, mainly because of his appeal to American values and usually cheerful scenes. Some have even put both their work
Is it
into
Brian
the
Bobbington?
same dreaded category of kitsch, but I think a more fitting comparison is Bob Ross.
Ah,
Both
boy
made surreal
wonder.
art that now, I love Bob Ross. I mean, who doesn't? But
Yeah,
I
how
wouldn't
could you
really
not?
call his work challenging. In fact, one can make the case that it is kitsch. No, the significance of Bob Ross is not really his art, but the hundreds of PBS videos he made painting that art.
Damn.
Bob Ross was...
I've had a really
I
cool
find-
idea for a while. Someone in the chat just reminded me of this. I thought it would be a really interesting idea if I did like some dog shitty Damien Hirst, Jackson Pollock style art under a pseudonym, and then just had like a really wealthy person I know buy it for an absurd amount and I just give the money back, obviously, but making headlines just to get that name out there and see if I could get some real, genuine, stupid, rich assholes to buy my work. So I was wondering, it's something I've been thinking about doing, but I need to find who would do it. I was gonna try and ask Gronk about it, but I just feel like he really wouldn't. I don't think he'd want to. But I really think it's a good idea, because most of these big artists like Damien Hirst are big because they know rich people that buy the fucking art from them for money laundering purposes. And I feel like you can replicate that if you just know someone with a lot of money. Isn't that illegal? Yep. But that's how all big modern artists start. Look up Damien Hirst's history. He doesn't even make the art himself anymore. He has people paint the polka dots for him. But he sells it as his to people he already knows.
The painter of light.
Wouldn't saying this out loud fuck you in the
even
future?
If you like his
No,
work,
you'd never know it's me. I'd have a cool pseudonym.
Not something I would consider a remarkable use of
Bramian Burst.
These guys, Cade was also not shy to talk about
he met
his
the
Christian
Pope?
beliefs and conservative family values. The prominent light so often seen in his paintings, he said, represented the light of God penetrating the darkness. The number one quote critics give me is, "Tom, your work is irrelevant." Now that's a fascinating comment. Yes, irrelevant to the little subculture, this microculture of modern art. But here's the point. My art is relevant because it's relevant to 10 million people. That makes me the most relevant artist in this culture, not the least, because I'm relevant to real people. Thomas Kinkade,
Yeah, he doesn't seem
also
super
allegedly
likable.
Frequently engaged, many gallery owners claimed Kinkade had ruined them financially in the name of God. Kinkade dismissed these accusations while also saying
it is what God would want, I think.
Kinkade was also an alcoholic, and as his businesses began to decline, he engaged more frequently in drunken episodes
Crandall and
where
Resub
he was
Kozer.
prone to cursing, heckling performers, one accusation of groping, urinating on a Winnie the Pooh statue while yelling, "This one's for you, Walt," which I don't even think that one's bad. That's hilarious.
That's pretty
and
cool,
drunk
actually.
Driving, which is less hilarious.
He's even wearing a Jackson Pollock shirt.
On April 6, 2012, he was killed by an accidental overdose of Valium and alcohol.
Wow.
If you're still wondering how people could hate a Thomas Kinkade artwork for political reasons, well, it's because the artist himself politicized them. That's how you can get articles like Thomas Kinkade, the George W. Bush of art. Their reasoning? Kinkade, like Bush, peddled a falsely simplified image of the world, and that the same bad taste that made people invest in fraudulent galleries also elected George Bush and sent their children off to die in the war.
Okay.
There's even another article titled,
Bro, it's a
George
jigsaw
Bush
puzzle
a better
painting.
Painter than Thomas Kinkade, which argues
Man's
that
looking
George
for a
W.
fucking
Bush's recent
intricate
painting
view of the world to
escapades are
challenge
more
his thought
interesting
process
than
with a
Kinkade's
fucking jigsaw
work
puzzle.
because they are more inventive, is one that echoes Clement Greenberg's 80-year-old essay on the avant-garde and kitsch. We think it's stupid art for stupid people.
How can you, like, how do you read this and not just get insulted? Like, reading pretentious garbage like this is so upsetting to me. Like, you can say the same thing without looking like a douchebag. And then, of course, this. We think it's stupid art for stupid people, yet people paying millions for Jackson Pollock's absolute trash. I always go back to Jackson Pollock and Damien Hirst, but there's millions of others.
But, and I know this is like a cardinal sin according to art critics, I don't hate Kinkade's art. There are some paintings I like. Some I wouldn't mind having a print of. Quite a few I find excessive, and quite a few I find downright horrendous. People often insult Kinkade's work by calling them greeting card illustrations. Well, greeting cards need illustrations, don't they? Or else they would just be white pieces of folded paper with
Sure,
text.
checkmate.
And hate them or love them, maybe the kind of vicious hatred for his art from the art world still seen today.
I am curious, what gets seen in high-class museums now? I'm pretty sure all of it is that super trash thing like a banana taped to a wall or like Banksy's balloon picture, stuff like that. Let me see. What is like the most modern art exhibition that just happened? There's got to be something for 2021. Well, I mean, even on just their homepage, like their art collection here is kind of ass. Looks like these kids did this. Looks like they vandalized an art piece, but this is apparently the piece that's on display. Like this is the cool art, I guess. I don't know what this is, like a used hand towel or something. Like they dumped some kind of staining liquid on it. Oh, wow. They're doing a good job here. Ah. Sewing as the world ends. I wish that I had sailed the darkened seas. You gotta really stop and digest this one, actually. There's a lot going on here. It's everything that it's not saying. And that's what makes it so powerful. Yeah, this pretty much sums up most art exhibits, I imagine. Here's some canvases that there's like some scribbles on it somewhere in there. I don't know, just hang it up, put like 50 grand on it. Someone's gonna buy it. Wow, this looks fun. Fuck, it really makes you think. This is like when Squidward went to that place to be all alone. This is just a bunch of boxes. Merlin, you've outdone yourself here. And exquisite. Like, you have to ask yourself, what's in those boxes? Are we purchasing too much? It's a display of excess. And you see how the boxes aren't all lined up the same? There's a pattern to it. There's order in the chaos. And then you also have to wonder who packed these boxes. Is it Amazon workers that are miserable and you can feel the hate? Is it someone like maybe a home business with a family that packed the... There's just so many things you have to ask yourself. This really is a challenging piece. I don't know is this evidence in like a crime scene or something? I don't understand. It's a melting seal. For an Eric Andre skit, they had a really obvious fake art setup that was meant to be destroyed and nobody even noticed. I think I remember that vaguely. There's been a couple people that have done that. I don't remember who, but someone set up an art exhibit that was open to the public and it was just nothing. It was just an empty white room and that was the art. And people went in there and were taking pictures and losing their mind over it. Art, like modern art, is one of the most bafflingly outrageous things to me. And the thing is, I never see anyone defend it. I literally never see anybody online defend it that isn't also laundering money with art themselves. Like, it blows my fucking mind. Nowhere on the internet do I see anyone like, no, Charlie, actually, Damien Hirst's pieces are pretty thought-provoking. Those pills kind of changed my life when I saw it. Nobody says that. But like the pretentious, weird art world where everyone's super rich and dumb.
His paintings are some of the most overtly political and excessive oil paintings out there. And like Kincaid, they are technically competent. I wouldn't say they are breathtakingly skillful, but he's probably a better painter than most people. His paintings were serene, peaceful, perfect scenes without pain or suffering. Ironically, his life was anything but. Behind the artificiality of these idyllic scenes is the all-too-real reality of human folly.
That was a very nice video. That was very interesting. The things people get mad about on Twitter always blow me away. But sometimes that anger is so misguided and delusional, it actually makes me angry, and it creates this like Ouroboros of eating its own ass forever, where I'm angry at them, and they're angry at something that doesn't even deserve anger to begin with, and it's just this never-ending cycle of absolute despair. And while I can step back and recognize that this probably isn't healthy behavior on my part, I'm also doing nothing to stop it or break this cycle. In fact, I'm embracing it. I'm swimming around in the swamp and I'm just taking a goddamn bath in it because today I'm here to rant about what Twitter was angry about that made me angry. And that was a viral clip from a couple days ago where James Cameron refused to sign some shit from people that ambushed them outside. People were all up in arms, soiling their little diapers and going crazy about how James Cameron's ego needs to be checked. He's such a fucking douchebag for not signing those fans' autographs and this and that. And they didn't stop to think for even just 1 second that those weren't fans that were just shoving all kinds of merch in his face for him to sign. They were resellers. They were scalpers. They were fucking parasites. And James Cameron had every right to decline signing that shit because nobody likes resellers. Like, that's not a hot take. So I'll go ahead and play the clip now and then we'll dive into it a bit deeper. I went over it on stream, so I'll play that and then I'll come back in here so we can digest it even further. Oh yeah, I pulled this up because I saw this making the rounds on Twitter with some absolute terrible takes. I guess I'm curious, what does chat think of this?
James Cameron swears at fans after they beat him for not signing autographs.
Okay, so that's the clip. That warms my heart seeing overwhelming W's. Twitter was the opposite. Twitter got so upset for James Cameron, and I think it's because they have to be like actually 11 or brain dead. These aren't fans. These are scalpers and autograph resellers. I think James Cameron fucking ignoring them, not signing their shit so they could peddle it for some kind of crazy markup online is a fat fucking dubski for James Cameron. And the way they reacted to not getting that autograph, that sense of entitlement is sickening. One guy had the gall, the chutzpah, to say, "Pay up, asshole." Pay up, asshole. As if he fucking owes you that when you're just gonna go on Craigslist and try and resell that fucking dirty sock you're having him autograph or whatever. Absolute parasite vulture piece of shit. I hate it. And I felt like I was taking crazy pills because on Twitter, all of them were the opposite. James Cameron needs to get his ego checked. I'm not watching Avatar anymore. James Cameron's such a prick. Maybe James Cameron is a prick, but like I don't know enough about him to say that. The movie was good, and I think this behavior, it made me like him. Like, it's just the disconnect and like the lack of ability to figure out that these aren't fans. It's people just trying to sell his autograph. Oh, it made me furious. I got heated. Exactly. He does not owe anyone an autograph. If these were fans, I would imagine he would be more inclined to sign their shit. As opposed to being ambushed by paparazzi, scalpers, and resellers out of the fucking back door here. And then, like, immediately heckled and shit on. Yeah, it was a certified Twitter moment seeing the top replies to this. Oh, the Reddit comments are on his side. On James Cameron's side. It was just Twitter. I saw it first on Twitter. Twitter is home of brain rot. It's only getting worse too, man. It really feels like people are getting dumber and dumber and dumber on Twitter, man. It's weird. I felt like this should have been overwhelmingly in support of James Cameron here. Because, like it's not even a hot take. Nobody likes paparazzi, no one likes scalpers, and no one likes just autograph resellers. And yet, for some reason, they all dogpiled on James Cameron for this. Like, I don't know what happened. Once again, going back to the initial clip, the immediate outrage at James Cameron and everyone yelling and screaming at him and all their voices sound like middle-aged chain smokers. Just, like, that's not a rational response to this. Again, even if they were fans, they're not entitled to an autograph from James Cameron. But it's very clear these weren't fans to begin with. They were people looking to make a profit off selling his signature. This response actually just sounds like your local Beef O'Brady's when they announce they're out of Miller Lite to serve during a Monday night football game. It's very clear these aren't fans. They just saw this as a payday where they had the dollar signs in their eyes. When James Cameron came out, he'll sign their shit and they'll go turn around and sell it for a huge markup to actual fans of the series. Like, they're just pieces of shit. And I'm pretty sure the guy that's filming this is the one that keeps saying "avatard." He's very proud of that little zinger that he came up with because he says it like 3 times. He just keeps saying "avatard." And I know some people were like, oh, James Cameron took it so far with giving them the finger. Man, fuck that and fuck them. I think that's a totally reasonable thing to do. As you're driving away, just hit him with one of these bad boys. Maybe even the double whammy. Like, I think that's totally fine. And again, it's important to remember, he doesn't owe you shit. Even if you are a massive super fan who took an entire night off of work in order to ambush him because you found his GPS location through a fucking UAV or something. Like, even if you were a big fan that just wanted an autograph for your own personal use, he doesn't owe that to you, and you can't be upset if he declines to sign it. Being disappointed is a totally normal thing to respond with, like, oh man, I would have really liked that autograph. But this kind of, like, absolute, like, immediate uproar is craziness. It's because people just realized they spent money to, like, Uber there or whatever, and now they're not going to be able to sell his autograph online, so that realization's setting in and they're lashing out like little children. And I really think the response to this clip is very telling of, like, the general mentality of Twitter users, this sense of entitlement. Like, they truly believe that even if they were real fans, James Cameron should do everything for them. He should bend over and let them suck his fart out of his butt, like if they asked. They have this belief that everyone around them is props for their own world, like they are the main character, thus everything should be going their way, and when it's not, they get angry. I think that's like the general like headspace a lot of people on Twitter are in. So they saw this and got offended that James Cameron didn't sign this merch. Without ever even considering the possibility that these weren't fans, they were just trying to capitalize off that signature so they could make fucking $200, $300 or whatever that's going for online. Like, it's silliness, and it made me upset. It got me heated. It got me steaming a little bit. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, and that's about it. See ya. On the internet, there's a single unwritten rule. Don't fuck with K-pop fans. K-pop is a word that's like Voldemort in Harry Potter's Sorcerer's Stone. You just don't say it. You're not allowed to say it. Even if it's something positive, it's fucking forbidden, and you will get absolutely virtually bitch slapped, as they call it. The K-pop community, for those that don't know, are a community of people that literally worship anything Korean pop related, and they make it their entire life. Now, this is less focusing on just being a fan of K-pop music and more of just the idea of celebrity worship and how unhealthy it is, where K-pop fans take that to the most extreme possible level. So for those that don't know, K-pop is a genre of music that stands for Korean pop, BTS being the biggest group most of you have probably heard of. I kind of fuck with some K-pop myself. I'm not a huge fan of the genre, but there are some songs that are just straight bangers in the genre that I appreciate. And this genre of music has spawned an incredibly aggressive community of feral animals that foam at the mouth anytime their favorite group is even mentioned, even in a positive way. Oh, how dare you mention Luna? You're not as big a fan of Luna as I am. I will literally fuck you in the butt with my small penis. Oh, you think you like Luna, do you? Do you even know where they were born? Do you? Do you know who their parents are? This incredibly unhealthy obsession with these groups is what the entire K-pop fandom is all about. They proudly call themselves stans. And for those that don't know, stan is a term coined from Eminem's song Stan. It's a combination of stalker and fan. The song is about a fan who's obsessed with Eminem, who goes as far as to kill himself and his girlfriend because his idol didn't reciprocate the love or acknowledge his existence. So these people proudly call themselves a stalker and a fan. And I know they don't use that literally, but some of them absolutely do. I feel like a lot of these K-pop stans are one Twitter argument away from lighting a church on fire out of passion because the pastor doesn't listen to K-pop. It's genuinely unhealthy how obsessed they are with some of these groups. And it's not good at all. I don't know why anyone would make this their entire identity. These K-pop stans have changed their entire life to make it all about being a fan of that group. A group that has no connection to them. The group doesn't know they exist, and if the group ever encountered that person in the real world, they would immediately call security because they'd be afraid. It's disturbing to have a complete stranger know everything about you and can't even get like a normal word in because they won't stop screaming and ululating and pissing their pants just at the sight of you. No one wants that. That's why none of the K-pop groups ever acknowledge their fandom in public, at least not from what I've seen. And I've done a little research on this because I was curious if they reciprocated that love with these incredibly hostile groups of people that go on Twitter and try and ruin careers and try and get people fired because they didn't like the same K-pop group. It's a literal ass-eat-ass world in the K-pop standom. It's a cannibalized society. They eat each other. They genuinely fucking eat each other, ripping nipples off, jerking dicks off. It's fucking crazy how insane the K-pop stan community is, and it's mainly on Twitter. That's where we'll focus on most of this. When you even make a tweet with K-pop in the title, you are getting shit. No matter what you've said, you are getting a shower of shit. Literal diarrhea. Because they just are immediately defensive and think anything with K-pop in it is an attack on them. I can't post any pictures because Twitter has really vague definitions of what constitutes harassment or brigading, so I'm going to assume most of you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't, you can easily find it if you even just search K-pop. I'm sure you could find a million arguments right now happening this second. And I think it's extremely sad because these people's entire lives revolve around being the biggest fan of a group of strangers. They like some of their songs, so now they've devoted their entire being, their entire existence to being a fan and stalker of that group of people. That's such a waste. That's genuinely just sad. And I don't think that's healthy at all. I don't know how anyone can proudly call themselves a super stalker fan. It's fucking sad. And the fact that they're extremely aggressive about it, it's fine to be passionate, and this isn't obviously to the entire community of K-pop fans. There's totally rational ones as well. But for some reason, K-pop has bred this incredibly hostile group of people with an unhealthy obsession that I think needs to be addressed. And I can't state this enough, their entire existence is based around just being a fan. It's like their professional job is being a professional fan of this group of strangers that they just like the music of. They fight full-time, a literal 9-to-5 job, fighting on Twitter for their honor, white knighting this group that doesn't even like them or acknowledge their existence, and it's fucking sad. It's pathetic. And it's fine to be passionate, but this is unhealthy obsession. I'm talking to all of the stans out there. You know who you are. You've replied to my tweets with their fucking 2-minute long clips of choreography from your favorite K-pop group. That's their favorite pastime. For some reason, that's owning the non-believers, really pwning the fucking K-pop haters by posting a full 2-minute video from one of their live performances where the camera is fixated on the one they have the biggest crush on. And it looks like a serial killer footage that they're showing because they have this entire group of people dancing, and yet it's focused all shaky cam, Cloverfield style, on one of them as they follow them around breathing heavily into the camera. It's fucking disturbing. You're not winning any arguments by posting that. You're just making yourself look like even more of a sociopath. I just really don't get it, and I don't mean to be so aggressive with the K-pop community because, again, not every single K-pop fan is like this, but there is a huge community of K-pop stans that are exactly like this and make the internet a really sad place, Twitter in particular, a really fucking sad place. Coming across a K-pop stan, I can't help but feel bad for him. There's really nothing more wasteful than worshiping a celebrity full-time. I don't understand how that dependency on a celebrity comes to fruition, how it breeds. I don't really get it. You don't know the person. You don't know anything about them. You're just a fan of some of the shit they put out there. Why waste your time being a full-time enthusiast of that person? Enjoy their work. Let other people either enjoy it or not. You don't have to go out of your way to take more time out of your day to fight that person's battles when they most likely don't want you to. I highly doubt any of the celebrities like that kind of behavior. It genuinely, like, I guarantee if the K-pop stans and the K-pop group ever got together to do like a meet and greet, like the K-pop stans on Twitter and then the actual group, if they got together, it'd be like a scene out of the first season of The Walking Dead where the K-pop stans literally eat the group alive because they love them so much and they don't know how to control themselves. They would literally feast upon the flesh of their favorite group out of a crime of passion. That's how fucking deranged they are, or at least that's how they act on Twitter. It's so fucking strange. And I feel like the K-pop enthusiasts are going to lose their goddamn mind just even knowing I said these things about them. But you need to take a moment of self-reflection and calm the fuck down. Enjoy your K-pop group. Enjoy whatever the fuck you want. But why act like such a goddamn asshole about it and make it your entire life to be that asshole about it? It's such a waste. A pathetic waste. And I think you need a hard look in the mirror to realize what a waste it is spending hours and hours of every day searching through Twitter out of your way, typing in K-pop to fight battles. You know, these people get up in the morning and put on a sweatband, jerk off into a sink, and then get ready to have Twitter arguments. That is their plan for the day, it seems like. These people come locked and loaded, ready to just go as far out of their way as possible to find a tweet with 1 comment on it and 5 likes and start fighting them about K-pop. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, and it's fucking scary. It really is. And that's all I wanted to bring up. K-pop fans and celebrity worship scare me. That's the whole point. And I think if you're a K-pop stan, you need to take a moment and calm the fuck down. That's about it. So yeah. Jeffrey Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. He serves as the perfect example that money can't buy happiness and it can't buy social skills. This dude is a walking cringe compilation. Now, he hasn't always been this way. I remember a couple of years ago there was a blackmail attempt where someone had pictures of his bulge. I don't think it was full-blown nudes, like they didn't have his full cock and balls wiener exposed or anything, or like butthole pics or anything like that. I believe it was just his bulge, and they were threatening to release it. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and do it, pussy. I don't care. He had this like fucking turbo Chad stance. He's like, yeah, go ahead and show the world my massive penis. Oh no. And I was giving him like a round of applause. I was like, damn, what a way of handling that. But now, ever since he went to space, he came back like a super cringe master. Now, of course, most of you are going to remember like a month ago, he had this beautiful speech the first time he went to space, where he thanked all of the Amazon workers and customers for paying for his space trip.
I want to thank every Amazon employee and every Amazon customer, because you guys paid for all of this. So seriously, for every Amazon customer out there and every Amazon employee, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I don't know about you, but as a man who's used Amazon before, I had tears in my eyes, finally getting a little appreciation for my hard work here and my shopping habits. I was listening to this, pumping my fist like, yes, Jeffy B, glad I could help. You know, I think this is up there with one of the best speeches of all time. In the same conversation as something like JFK's "We Choose to Go to the Moon" speech. This was just so powerful, and it's incredible that Jeffrey Bezos, in all of his wealth, still finds a way to be so down to earth. But not literally, because no doubt when he was in space, he probably shit in the toilet and just sent it back down to our planet, our forsaken little space rock. Just as a reminder of our place in Jeffy B's grand scheme here, he can literally shit on us whenever he wants to. Now, Mr. Bezos has always been known as a man of class, so I really appreciated him giving thanks to the Amazon workers that made this space travel possible, and I'm sure they appreciated the gesture. As they were pissing in their bottles at the warehouse, I'm sure they had a faint smile on their face as they were celebrating their CEO's success. Now, this is not the most recent thing he did, but I just thought it was worth mentioning because Jeffrey Bezos has become the fucking spicy cringe deity supreme. It's actually incredible how often he's able to embarrass himself like this. What happened yesterday, though, is the new gold standard for billionaire embarrassing moments. So he sent William Shatner to space, Captain Kirk, and when William Shatner returned, he had like a life-altering experience. He was extremely moved. Jeffrey didn't give a fuck.
Is it different than what you thought? It happened so quickly. You know what the impression I had that I never expected to have.
I love how desperate Jeff Bezos looks to just get the fuck out of the conversation. He looks like me back in high school trying my best to pay attention in class, but not doing a great job of even faking it. He is so bored out of his mind, he just wants to go butt chug some champagne with the boys and girls over there at the frat party.
Is you shooting up?
Give me a champagne bottle. Come here. I want one. I want to hear this. Here. You want a little of this? Okay.
The champagne showers have begun. Smiles all around. William Shatner taking in the moment clearly.
Yeah, William Shatner did seem like he was having a good time. Admittedly, I don't know why William was trying to tell it like a campfire story, hoping everyone would like gather around to listen to his wisdom or something at the Christmas fireplace or whatever. Like, it's, you know, maybe not the best time to be trying to tell some kind of profound story, but extremely douchey from Jeff to just completely interrupt him like, can you shut the fuck up, you geriatric old man? I'm trying to fucking shoot champagne, baby! Let's see some titties! We're fucking hosing everyone down as William's trying to talk. And offering him champagne is kind of a slap in the face and spitting in his mouth because William Shatner is a recovering alcoholic. And so he's just champagne showering everyone, and then he gets fucking bukkakied with champagne too, so William's just getting blasted with champagne as Bezos is clapping and laughing, all while Shatner has a history of alcohol abuse, so that was pretty cool, Jeff. Now, from what I understand, and these are all rumors and whatever, but William Shatner is apparently pretty egotistical himself, but I still feel for him here because he was very clearly moved by this experience. He played fucking Captain Kirk in Star Trek. Him going to space is probably something he's dreamed about his entire life. Then he finally gets to go to space with a smile on his face and cum in his pants, and Jeff just can't give him a moment to just kind of like unwind before trying to waterboard him with champagne. Now, in all fairness, I think it's important that I mention right after this clip, Jeff does allow William Shatner to speak. He gives him like 10 minutes to just talk about his experience, and I was expecting him to interrupt it again with like a keg stand this time around, maybe even snorting coke off of a stripper's butthole or something, just telling William to, you know, shut up while he does a line, but he doesn't. He lets William continue and talk for like 8 to 10 minutes, so that was nice. But it doesn't make this first exchange here any less awkward and cringy, and I just wanted to share it just because I was kind of giggling about it. Felt bad for William Shatner, but god damn it, what an incredible little disaster on camera here. And that's about it. See ya. I'm pretty sure this is the first video I've ever made with Taylor Swift as the focus for it, and that's because I just don't really have any strong feelings on her or her music. I don't know a whole lot about her, like, in her personal life or anything other than, like, all the breakups and stuff, but that's just not something I tune into super deeply. All I know is she's got some songs in her catalog I like to wiggle my finger to occasionally. Like, I don't dislike her music. I don't hate the songs that she's put out. There are a few boner jams in there. But the reason I'm talking about her today is because she has a new album that just came out, which I didn't even know was around the corner. But something is a bit awry. There's a disturbance out there because for the first time ever, I'm pretty sure, people are saying it's not good. Even her most loyal of fans are criticizing it. A feat I didn't even think was possible. It defies our very fundamental understanding of science. The Swifties vocally expressing disappointment, and not only in the album, but in the way in which Taylor Swift has gone about it. There is a lot of greed at play here that I would have never even imagined as like a money-making strategy. It's so fucking scummy. But Swifties have been well known to support any and everything Taylor Swift does at basically any price point imaginable. You could ask the moon, and they would happily fork over every single doubloon in their piggy bank for it. They would pay $5,000 to be in the same room that Taylor Swift farted in 5 years ago, and they would pay that with a big smile on their face, and go online to rave about the incredible experience being near like a smidgen of ass molecule that Taylor Swift shared the same air as this one room one time. Like, and yet, they are talking about how disappointing this is from Taylor. That's crazy to me. That has to be like an indicator for an impending apocalypse. Like, I bet if you correlate this with the Mayan calendar, we're going to find evidence to the end times right around the corner. It is shocking, to say the least. And since I brought up the end times, I want to tell you that the end of bad hygiene is here, thanks to our soap Cheeky. We've got a new scent available now. It's the Sunday Scaries. It's our vanilla scent, which is a scent that has been requested highly for like the last year, and it's finally here, so you can go to usecheeky.com and get yourself the best soap ever created. So naturally, before getting into like the greedy monetization model for this album, Life of a Showgirl, I'll go ahead and give you my opinion on the album, because I decided to take a little listen. I didn't hate it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what all the hoopla is about. Like, it seems like just a very normal Taylor Swift album. Admittedly, there's nothing on there that jumped out at me as a classic that's going to be talked about as one of her finest pieces, you know, one of her top tracks or anything. But it wasn't nails on a chalkboard or anything. It didn't feel like it was just lazy throwaway garbage. Like, I didn't feel like I was listening to "You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack" or something. Like, it was just very simple. Not to throw shade at "You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack," of course, but the point is, it just felt like a really normal Taylor Swift album. It wasn't extraordinary, but I don't think it was nearly as bad as I'm hearing a lot of people say. The only track on here that actually did raise my eyebrow was "Wood," which is a song about Travis Kelce's wiener. It's about a little more than that, but that's kind of like the focus, is Travis Kelce's meat. Kind of lyrics that just make you go, ooh, instead of have you snapping your fingers. Forgive me, it sounds cocky, he amatized me. I actually had to look up what that was. It's apparently dickmatized instead of hypnotized, where you get fucked so good that you get hypnotized, apparently. At least according to fan interpretations of that line. There's a lot of layers to this onion, of course. It's very deep songwriting. And opened my eyes, redwood tree, it ain't hard to see, his love was the key that opened my thighs. Girls, I don't need to catch the bouquet to know a hard rock is on the way. Oh. Like, when I heard that for the first time, it brought out the same feeling as the first time I heard Riley Reid freestyle rap. It was just, it was visceral. These lyrics really do feel like something I myself would write as a joke for one of our songs, The Gentle Men. And who knows, maybe Taylor Swift is a fan of The Gentle Men and was inspired by our songwriting styles. Because, like, I could see myself writing some shit like that for a goofy track. You know, penis appointment, you know I'm on time. He's dunking his balls like MJ in his prime. Like, it really does sound like something I would have cooked up for sillies. But, I don't know, the rest of the song, it kind of plays it pretty straight, like pretty serious. And it's just, I don't know. That out of all the songs on the album, that's the only one where I was like, oh. But anyway, enough about the album itself. I think it is just like a very normal, generic Taylor Swift album. Do I think it's anything special? No. Do I think it's anything abhorrent and as awful as everyone else seems to think it is? Also no. But I did see a banger tweet that a buddy of mine sent me that I guess kind of sums it up nicely. I said Taylor Swift's new album sucks and I didn't even get a single death threat from a Swiftie. That's how bad it is. For those that don't know, since basically the beginning of Taylor Swift's career, anyone that speaks out saying like, I didn't really like that, they get dogpiled by Swifties with death threats, oftentimes racism. Like, the Swiftie online reputation has been pretty scary for a while, actually. And of course, it's not all Swifties, obviously, but it's enough to be kind of like a common thought, a stereotype for Swifties that has been around for a while, where if you say you don't like something about Taylor Swift or her album, get ready for some of the most colorful insults you'll ever read and a lot of death threats. So now, with the actual album itself out of the way, let's talk about how she monetized it, how she tried to squeeze more money from all of her fans, because it is egregious. I think this is probably why there are so few people coming to her defense here, because this is kind of indefensible. This is an article from a site called Defector that kind of broke it all down and gave like their review of it and talking about the monetization here and how greedy it is. So, upon announcing the album, Swift put up a vinyl for pre-order on her site, and then another, and then another. Before the album was even released, she had promoted and sold on her site 8 exclusive vinyl variants in different colors with different names, and 8 CDs and 1 sweater which comes with a CD. The vinyls cost $34, the CDs cost $20, the sweater CD cost $70, and one of those was a Target exclusive edition. Don't forget Target. The marketing scheme for each of these releases, which came one after another, was scarcity. They will sell out, you will never have another opportunity, hurry, show your love and devotion. And unsurprisingly, it was a very successful business model. She's apparently sold 2.7 million copies of the album in physical and digital. When she announced it on the New Heights podcast, she promised this album wouldn't have any bonus tracks. Historically, Swift has sold her fans the album and then asked them to buy it again to access extra songs. The Life of a Showgirl, she promised, was fully complete, but then on Saturday night, another countdown appeared on her website, and at the end of it, she announced 4 additional CDs of the same album that fans could buy. These versions cost $8 a piece, and each includes 2 exclusive acoustic versions of songs on the album. That means that in addition to the songs on the album, Swift also recorded 8 acoustic versions, but you can only hear them if you purchase each of the 4 CDs. You have to collect this shit like pieces of Exodia here to get the whole experience. It goes on to say she didn't lie technically. There are no new songs on the CDs, just an opportunity for her to make even more money. So the songs aren't new, but they're a different recording of the same song, a different way. There's really no way of justifying that. The whole purpose is just to squeeze more money out of the audience because she knows they are going to lap it up 100%, and they are. Like, it is still making tons of money, even though it's not being received overly positive. Another thing they're putting her feet to the fire for is apparently using AI in this new album rollout. So it's pretty clear that this is big time money making mode here. This isn't really about the artistry of her craft or anything. It does seem like the whole goal here is to try and squeeze as much out of this album as she possibly can, with so many like additions and shit, even cutting corners on to use AI. Like, she has unfathomable wealth. There is just no excuse for not just hiring a real person, a real artist for that. The only reason she'd use AI is to save money, which is pretty crazy considering she's a fucking billionaire. Like, how are you gonna cheap out on this? It's so wacky to me. So it's hard to disagree with people expressing their sentiment that Taylor Swift is just selling out and is looking to just make as much money off this album as she can possibly squeeze without really caring about the art or the community that she's built. Just kind of throwing Swifties into the mud and just treating them like a useful piggy bank she can tap into whenever she wants for delivering very little to them. Like I said, it's hard to disagree with that because why the fuck are there so many versions of this? Why are you using AI? Like, there are just so many things that are clearly just here because it's greedy. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised to see even the most loyal of Swifties calling it out, saying, like, this is unacceptable. This is really disappointing from Taylor. I thought she had reached this point where she was literally infallible in some people's eyes. So it's good to see that there are things people won't stomach when it comes to her greed with this album. I think that's good. So hopefully there'll be a course correction here from her team, like with the way this has been handled. I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to yap about it a little bit because this was pretty shocking to see that her album and her business acumen here being criticized by Swifties. So anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. Former governor of Vermont, Howard Dean, literally ruined his career over the Dean scream. Wow. We actually have an old head in here. The Dean scream is what Chappelle, back in the early days, made an entire skit based off of. We're going to Oregon. We're going to Vermont. Ah! And then Chappelle made an entire skit out of it. His career ended on the spot. That is a classic. Which is so stupid. It's actually... I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the clip. What was his name again? Dean... I'll just do Dean Scream. It's crazy to think of this now because at this point, this guy would get 1 million Twitter followers overnight and become a TikTok sensation if he did this right now. But this ruined his entire political career. This one moment. This one goofy scream.
And you know something?
Tell him, Dean.
You know something? Not only
Howard.
are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and
Yep.
Oklahoma
Yep.
and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
Fuck yeah, Howard! He sounds like the president from Independence Day when he gives his last speech.
Or New Mexico, Oklahoma.
I don't remember this for sure, but I do remember reading that he was actually an extremely liked candidate right up until that moment. I'm going way into the data banks of my brain for that, but I think I remember reading that going into that, people fucking loved him. Like, people fucking loved that guy. But the second he did that silly scream, they threw him to the wolves. That was true? He had a lead in the polls? Okay. Yeah. Like, it is like a WWE performance. Just one scream.
South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House.
And he cooks it up, too. Like, look at him charging it. It's like a spirit bomb.
The White House.
And then Chappelle kind of just dug the nail in the coffin. He made a whole skit about it.
To take back the White House.
I watched this episode so many fucking times. I loved it.
I would kick open the door to the Oval Office and I would chop that motherfucking desk in half.
I can imagine Howard watching this skit with tears in his eyes. Just one scream. Ahead of his time, though. Like I said, if he did this today, he would be extremely popular for it, and he'd get a lot of new fans. Is he alive? I don't know. I always just assume when I stop hearing about, like, big celebrities that they're dead. It's a bad habit of mine. I just assume that the reason I stopped hearing about them is because they died. He reprised his speech in 2016, no scream, though. What's the point, then? Here's what I say. I think Howard Dean should get the cobwebs off. You know, get on his dancing shoes again and make a run for it. But this time, invest heavily in the Dean scream. I think that should be the focal point of all of his campaign rallies. Build his whole brand around that and give it another crack. You could be his running mate. Yeah, I don't want to be his running mate. I'll be his campaign manager. I'll design his appearances. I'll have this man going on like Twitch rivals for games he doesn't even fucking play just to keep saying, yeah. Get Howard Dean in the next Smash tournament? Oh, yeah, have him casting Smash. But then wouldn't he become the breathtaking? No. I think it's a little different with the Dean scream. I legitimately think he got done so dirty. I don't know why that scream ruined him. Like, I really don't, to be honest. I don't know why people got so upset at the Dean scream back in 2004. It was used to trivialize his platform by his own party. Oof. Rough. Friendly fire, Sag. I mean, that is Sag. Imagine getting ruined because you got a little too excited, so you made a silly noise. Sometimes when I get excited, I fucking squeak. Like, my actual throat, like, makes a squeak that comes out. It sounds like a dog toy. I could never make it in politics if you get fucked for something like that. I'd be out in the first debate. Or weren't you gonna run for mayor with Andrew? No, I just thought that was a really silly idea. Of course I wouldn't actually fucking run for mayor. They sampled the Dean scream in Breaking Bad. Oh, really? What? When? I don't remember that. Was that actually in the show? Wait, what? No shot. This has to be a meme, right? Why? Like, that doesn't even fit here. Nah, no shot. That's definitely just like a meme. Find another clip. Good idea. No way! What? Why is that even there? What? That had to just be there as a joke. Yeah, it had to just be like a little joke with the crew. Yeah, I mean, it adds fucking nothing to the scene at all. Like, it's just a random sound effect. It's like the whip cracks in Johnny Test. They must have just like been like laughing about this and threw it in. Audio engineers love the shit out of this. Think Wilhelm scream. Yeah, but I feel like Wilhelm scream is only used as a joke, right? Like, there's no way they actually use the Wilhelm scream seriously anymore. Like, that's just an audio engineer goof. Same here, though. Yeah, true. I wonder how many other times the Dean scream has been slid into movies and shows. Not too long ago, I made a video on everyone's least favorite internet creator, Onision, talking about the fucked up shit he does and what makes him just so pitiful. Not that that's brave or anything, because that's his entire pathetic existence now. He just exists to be made fun of, just an internet punching bag. He's like a fucking blobfish, just cursed to be a loser and be pointed and laughed at. And he constantly just fuels that fire so that way people will make fun of him, so that way he gets views on his videos. So he posts those goofy freak out videos where he's like waving his arms in the air, shit like that, so that way people make fun of him for a dumb freak out. He goes on Twitter and says, I'm gonna use all 3 inches of my penis in your tight ass or some garbage. He's like a Mr. Meeseeks of YouTube. He's only here to get made fun of, and when people finally get tired of making fun of him, he just fucking disappears. That's all he has. It's such a worthless fucking existence online. But anyway, I swore with my cock on a stack of Bibles I wouldn't make another video about Onision. I wouldn't even mention his name. It'd be like Voldemort to me. But now I can't help myself. I have to talk about it because a champion has been summoned. Chris fucking Hansen has entered the Smash Bros. Arena and is now hunting Onision. There's no name more feared by predators than Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen is to predators what the Antichrist is to everyone else. He signals the end. Fear, terror, confusion, and a lot of times jail time. Chris Hansen is no lightweight, and now Onision's in his crosshairs.
911, what are you reporting?
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online, and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers. I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door.
Okay, and do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Greg is about as brave in person as you'd expect. The thing about dealing with a predator is you know exactly what a predator is going to do.
I love that little line right there, that little humdinger from Chris Hansen. Greg is about as brave in person as you'd expect. I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the world that thought for even a moment Greg was anything more than a gaping, seeping, oozing pussy. But I like that Chris Hansen just buckles down and says what we're all thinking. He's a fucking pussy, without saying those words, but it's what he's implying, obviously, and he's absolutely right. Greg didn't even have the balls to just talk to Chris Hansen at his door. I'm actually surprised the 911 operator didn't hang up the second he said it's Chris Hansen, or send the squad cars out there to help Chris Hansen. So, in a nutshell, Chris Hansen has been digging through all of Onision's past, all of everything that's been presented for all the evidence, and then he wanted to go get Greg's side of it, so he went to Greg's house. And Greg immediately called the police. The police were making fun of Onision in his own fucking driveway, and some of the officers were fans of Chris, which is just icing on the little shit cake that Greg created. It's just a beautiful little disaster, a nice little development in the Onision manga arc anime Fall from Grace. It's incredible. I can't wait to see where it develops next. Chris Hansen has positioned himself as the hero of this anime, Greg the antagonist, the big bad evil villain, and I can't wait to see Chris's next move in this series here. I don't want to talk about Onision, but this shit right here had me smiling from ear to ear, just to watch Greg not even pretend to be a tough guy, immediately call the police, only to have the police show up and start making fun of him on his own property. Like, it's beautiful. That's fucking beautiful. He's as big a loser in real life as he is on the internet. That's incredible. That's crazy, and exactly what that kind of guy deserves. So yeah, just wanted to talk about this briefly. That's about it. Wishing you the best of luck here, Chris Hansen. Godspeed. See ya. Janet Jackson was once extremely popular in the musical industry. Most people happen to remember her from her Super Bowl halftime performance where Justin Timberlake ripped her titty out on live TV. One of the fondest memories from my childhood and one of the best moments in all of sports, I'd argue. But what a lot of people seem to forget when talking about her career is just how incredible her concerts were. She used to bring fans on stage just to make them come in their pants in front of everyone. I'll show you a few clips. He looks like Darkside Phil when he left his webcam on while he was masturbating. This dude is in pure ecstasy right now and he's already filling his pants, just getting strapped to the apparatus. This is the face of a satisfied man that has really made the creamy wetness happen immediately. I'm surprised he was even able to survive the wiener touch there. He was already ejaculating, just getting strapped to this medieval torture device. I thought the dick squeeze was going to be enough to send him over the edge and just have him fucking combusting right there in the 50 Shades of Grey machine. Have it looking like the end of Ghostbusters when they blow up the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Just cover the stage in semen. That was bold positioning from Janet Jackson right there. She put her head right between a bullet and a target. If he was really in the zone, if he hadn't already come, he probably would have ejaculated with the force of a fucking cannon and just taken her out right there on stage. Now, I'll go ahead and be honest here for a minute. I imagine this guy's probably planted in the crowd just for this. I can't imagine they would choose someone totally at random, just have some loose cannon lunatic go up there and get strapped down. They'd be biting at her nipples, trying to fucking like headbutt her or something. I don't know, it just wouldn't be safe. But maybe I'm wrong and it truly was a random selection. But there's 3 of these that I'll show you and it all kind of plays out similarly. The front-on angle had me thinking this man was straight eating her out. I thought he was chewing on her pussy like bubblegum, but then as it pans to the side, you see he's still keeping adequate distance, which again kind of makes me think that he was in on it, because I imagine you take someone totally at random, they could be drunk and just going crazy, like the pussy from Janet Jackson's right in front of their face, and they don't know what to do, so like fucking blowing raspberries at it, blowing on it. This is what concerts are all about right here. Giving the fans something they'll never forget. But to be honest, I bet this would be extremely uncomfortable. Just not only being strapped down to this thing that looks like what they'd use at a mental asylum for shock therapy, but also just the fact that you're getting up there and then getting like a lap dance in front of an entire concert venue. I think that'd just be kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't want to be called up on stage for a Foo Fighters concert and then he just makes me drop my trousers and starts jerking me off in front of the crowd while they're playing Learn to Fly or some shit, and I just have to stand there pumping my fist, and then I start O-facing and ejaculating on the stage. It'd just be kind of weird to do all that kind of stuff in front of everyone there.
Oh my God! I love you so much!
And this is where that gentleman died. He died doing what he loved, busting some fat nuts. Now let's go ahead and tune into another performance of this with a totally different person. Now this guy's out here taking a big fucking risk. He's wearing sweatpants, so if he gets a boner, the whole crowd's gonna know it. But I think that's kind of required for this kind of thing, right? Like, it's in a weird limbo where if you don't get a boner, it's like, well, did you not have fun? If you do get a boner, well, you had too much fun. So you have to go for that sweet medium of a semi-chub. Unfortunately, the choreography is exactly the same. Janet Jackson does the same moves in all of her performances of this song. The only differences are in how much ejaculate is propelled into the pants and also what pants they're wearing. So while the choreography doesn't change, it's always enjoyable to see the reaction from the person up there getting the dance. Also, I just want to say I'm not a huge fan of the super tight spandex look or the Catwoman suit, whatever it is. I just don't think it's very cool. I guess the sexy appeal of it is the fact that it could split apart at any moment, so when she like thrusts her vagina towards his face, maybe the whole thing splits apart and then it's just bare pussy there. I don't know. That reaction right there kind of just sums it all up. Just wiggling a fat nut right out of the penis. That's what Janet Jackson's concert performance here is all about, baby! Let's see another one. When I first saw this clip, I actually thought it was Chester from Linkin Park. I got really excited. I thought I just made a marvelous discovery, but I'm pretty certain it's not Chester.
Thank you.
Now that is a gentleman, super polite, thanking her for all the hard work she put into making him bust, and I just think that is just such a stand-up thing for him to do, and especially in front of the whole crowd promoting good manners. I have nothing but respect for that, and what an incredible performance from both him and Janet. Great work all around, and I think it's about time we bust out the old cum contraption over here again. Let's start strapping some young men up to that thing and making them ejaculate in front of the crowd, huh? I think it's long overdue to bring back this trend. Alright, that's about it. See ya. Humanity has never unanimously agreed on something in its entire history of existence. There's people that don't believe in dinosaurs. People fucking unironically believe the world is flat and that the snow is not real and the snow that we get is just plastic or toxic chemicals that are making their dicks smaller. There is never been a case where everyone in the world agrees on something until Jeffrey Epstein died in prison. You see, everyone in the world pretty much agrees that he was killed. There's the huge meme, Jeffrey Epstein didn't commit suicide. Somehow, this has united humanity, at least in some small way, in the belief that Jeffrey Epstein's death was at least fishy. Now, what does that have to do with today's video of a boomer telling the worst lie that's ever been recorded? Well, it's because that boomer is Prince Andrew, and he's facing child sex charges in wake of Jeffrey Epstein's case coming to light. And here he is defending himself with the worst fucking lying I've ever seen. Everyone's lied. You know, I'm sure some of you have lied about eating the last cookie in your mom's cookie jar, but no one has ever told a lie less convincing than Prince. There's a bulletproof defense right there, Prince Andrew. Yep, you've really convinced us now. You could literally see on his face those old senile gears in his head turning, firing on all cylinders, turning on the turbo afterburners to come up with any excuse possible, and he drums up the dumbest fucking one imaginable. You could hear him stuttering like a child in elementary school got called on to read a book out loud in front of the class, and then he comes up with, well, that can't possibly be correct because well, there you have it, that's ironclad, watertight, throw the whole fucking story out now. Clearly, this man is such an adrenaline junkie, such a seasoned veteran, battle-hardened, gladiator, warrior, championship monster man, fighting on the front lines of battle, eating bullets for breakfast for the sake of his country, and his body is no longer capable of producing sweat. An autonomic function of the body is now just rendered useless to this man's chiseled grease. I mean, it's laughable when you think that a man like him is capable of sweating after everything he's been through. To accuse him of something so mundane as sweat, it's laughable. Laughable. You know who else doesn't sweat, Prince Andrew? Reptilians. It doesn't lie. To be fair, I also very rarely sweat, even if I work out really hard. Some people just sometimes have a hard time sweating. You know who's not one of those people? Prince Andrew. It takes one simple Google search to find thousands of pictures of this man sweating like a fucking faucet being turned on. This fucking boomer sweats more than a hentai lover in church. I don't know why he would tell a lie that is so easily thrown out by just Googling Prince Andrew sweat. It's fucking stupid, man. What a horrible goddamn lie. A sad question to get asked. Are you sure you didn't meet her, or is it possible you just don't remember meeting her because you're such a high-level fucking senile boomer? Well, you can't argue with that. It's pretty useless when the question is just answered with a, I don't know. Like if my girlfriend came home, Charlie, why is there the crusty sock in the laundry room and pubic hair trimmings in the sink? I have no idea. I don't know who's done that, perhaps a burglar. He must have come in and trimmed his pubes in our sink and jerked off in a sock. Just not getting any answers out of him throughout the rest of the interview. It's just kind of boring from here on out. But I just really wanted to talk about the I don't sweat line. I don't know what the allegations even are against Prince Andrew. I don't know what he's accused of. All I know is that anyone in the world that's ever told a lie, which is everyone out there, can immediately recognize all of that leading up to the I don't sweat and the I don't sweat as a really shitty lie that anyone would be embarrassed of. That's the kind of lie you'd tell in high school and lie awake at night just cringing about into your 30s. Yeah, it's like, and the way he gets to it with the stuttering, sounding like Patrick Starr going about Man Ray. I don't sweat. It's just fucking, it's sad, you know, that's the lie that he chose. The fucking I don't sweat. It's a classic. And yeah, that's really just about it. So yeah.